Hi guys, it's Shanny with Healing Elements. Britney and Shanny sipping tea, and it's for me, it's super special episode because this, I've been trying to connect with her, and she can tell you that this is her week of anniversary of 2 years after her near-death experience. So I never ever get sick of hearing about them, any transcendental, experience, but in general, experience. Oh, what the heck? It was on my TV waiting to see if it worked. Hold on. I did this the second time. What the heck? Experience. Oh, what the heck? Look, it's on my TV waiting to see. Look, and it won't even turn off. I did this the second time, but in general, look how funny that is. I definitely had it on, and now it won't turn off. What the heck? There we go.
Well, that's hilarious.
The second time that happened to me, because when I said it, like to see how long I have, it'll say, "Oh, we have this many minutes," and then when I'm corresponding with you, so anyway, and then I used to see if it works, but now I think we're, except for glitch days, we're good. But anyway, sorry guys. Okay. Going live. I'm more used to it now. But in any case, so 2 years ago and this week, is it the 7th, Brittany, or what's the actual date?
The 7th. The
7th was the anniversary for her near-death experience. And so I am super excited. She said she wouldn't mind. She doesn't mind. I just would like for you to, if you wanted to just go back to that day, kind of as if it's just the first time you told the story, or just walk me through, walk me through that memory if you want. If you want to start from any kind of point, you don't have to, put in or leave out any details that you want. I was just really happy for you. Because of the circumstance and just because you're here and I'm bonded with you and you're touching a lot of people's lives in many ways. And I'm just stoked on that cheesy note that, you're here and you're giving other people some inspiration. And so it's been 2 years, and I don't know about you, but I kind of was thinking about it, about how I wonder if you celebrate it as a rebirth, you know what I mean? Like something that has changed within you so profoundly. I'm just wondering if you celebrate that. So if you want to take us through it, I'm just happy to be here with you, and just, I love you, and I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you had that experience and came back. But
it was a weird day. It was weird to think about the 2-year anniversary and where I am now compared to where I was 2 years ago, and how many people I might have affected or helped in between that time. So it was a celebration, and also not a grieve, like a grieving,
sorrowful?
But it was almost like, I don't even know how to explain it, but like, I just kept saying to myself, 2 years ago, I could have died.
Yeah. Was it like I told you about that drunken driver thing that happened? Was it a trigger in you that didn't, profess any kind of trauma, but it just really brought up to the surface maybe what you were feeling and how everything had accumulated emotionally for you?
I think maybe a little bit of that. Okay. And I think it was a lot of not understanding what really caused it.
You reflected on the 7th about that? About what exactly caused that? Okay.
Yeah. And so taking you back 2 years ago to that day, there was a lot of animosity between my mom and I, and my husband and my mom and my husband and I because of that. Mm-hmm. And Christmas was coming up, and I was upset because of Thanksgiving. I kind of had to choose who I was going to stay with for Thanksgiving, whether it be my mom or him. And I think that was kind of getting to me.
Yeah.
I think Christmas was getting to me. And just knowing that I was going to have to make that decision and have to put up some kind of boundary. And I can't think of anything else. I mean, life was hard. We didn't have a lot of money, or, life was struggling, but that was always my life. So I can't really pinpoint exactly why that day, why the 7th, why the 7th of December. The only thing I can say is this December was probably because of Thanksgiving and Christmas was the only thing I could kind of conclude.
You know, one thing that you'd mentioned before, and I know that that's common, I found out about myself, you know, when that happened to me, that I think that I had, you know, throughout my life suffered through little episodes. And I know you had shared with me that you had, when you were younger, much younger, some suicidal ideation. Do you think that maybe it was something that came and went and just was something that was unexplained, this affliction, maybe some sort of, you know, of course, your inner child and different wounds or anything like that? I'm thinking it just is a cumulative, you know, everything that you had harbored. And that's really difficult. I've been there between, you know, the family of my husband, the family of myself. I mean, it's, you know, when you're in a marriage, it's not easy, and it's way more emotional. And a lot of people, unfortunately, and friends and, you know, my life have put in that kind of, you know, this or that. They're, you know, in discord with somebody, and then you have to choose or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So that's not easy. That's something right in itself that could really be underlying, and you don't realize what those, you know, like those feelings are. Because I said empathy. But do you think it possibly was just another one of those times where you had a little bit of ideation, but for some reason, you know, you went through?
Yeah, I mean, it must have been. And I remember my husband coming home from lunch, and I think we fought, but I don't remember what we fought about. And it wasn't anything, I mean, it wasn't like fist fight or anything, but it was just an argument.
I was
And
even asking that. Yeah, that can do it, because the underlying tone of emotions and the repetitive, whatever it was, even if it's just bickering or whatnot, you know, that can, I mean, that was a big reason why I was in that position. You know what I mean? So.
yeah, and I remember sitting in the bathroom. Why the bathroom? I don't know. But I was sitting in the bathroom, and I just kind of looked up and I said, "This is really it? Today's really it, huh? Like, we're really going to do this today?"
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I said that out loud.
Yeah.
And then that's when I grabbed the anesthetic lidocaine liquid stuff.
It was lidocaine? Oh my gosh.
Yes, and drank it.
It was, you can get poison from that, because I broke out super young with shingles, and they sometimes give that to me because it goes into like my throat. So you can actually pass away from drinking the.
Well, so I drank 2 whole vials of it, and it stopped because it numbs everything.
Oh my!
So it stopped my lungs. It stopped my breathing.
Oh my gosh!
So, and I like yours. Was it like the actual liquid stuff?
It was like mixed with almost like sugar water, like a very tiny thing. And it's just like to like, you did drink it, but I mean, they did say specifically like 1 drop, you know what I'm saying, to go down the throat. And it's been better in the last 3 years. But when it first came out, they had to diagnose what it was, because it's like, it was crazy. They thought, what is this, you know? And so it was like, it was meant to actually swallow for people maybe with esophageal cancer or really bad ulcers or things like that. The shingles are just really painful. So that's what I had. I did not know.
So maybe it's the same thing, but this stuff, she gave it to me. I was supposed to put it in a nasal spray and spray it in my nose for migraines.
Okay. Oh, interesting. That's interesting.
So it wasn't diluted or anything. It was just straight up like the liquid.
It's crazy. Do you ever think about that? I think about that all the time because of the pills and the amount that they ended up prescribing me, because I would just go saying I'm sorrowful, and they wouldn't say, hey, why don't you go get some counseling or go to, no blame, but, you know, or go to the spiritual thing. Do you ever wonder, because I never used to put emphasis on my doctor, but my mom and other people did. Do you ever feel like, okay, the doctor maybe shouldn't have given it to me undiluted or anything like that? I'm not saying you do. I'm just wondering.
There's so many things that I think of. I mean,
we all have free choice. It's not like, you know.
It's crazy. Well, and then, so I do the CASA volunteer thing, right? This is like way off of
it's okay, girl.
subject.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I was doing a training yesterday on fentanyl. Okay. And I didn't know, and maybe I'm just that naive for my age, but I didn't know that fentanyl didn't mean the actual just drug fentanyl.
I didn't know that either. I thought fentanyl meant fentanyl, like a drug called fentanyl.
So there is a drug called fentanyl. Okay. But when they say fentanyl, like as in, oh, she died of fentanyl, or, oh, there's a fentanyl problem. Mm-hmm. Fentanyl is actually an umbrella, kind of like opioids is an umbrella.
Yes.
Fentanyl is just an umbrella term. So you have anesthesia? So what they're doing is they said that chemists are coming up with things faster than they can actually fix. So like say, I don't know, some kind of weird bath salt mix.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
they have to do is add some weird thing to it or whatever, and it changes it just a little bit. And then it's legal to sell, legal to buy, and legal to consume. And then it doesn't show up in UAs.
Oh
So the
my God.
whole, yeah. So the whole like story of her presentation was, even if your client comes back with a negative UA, it doesn't mean that they're clean. So
Yeah.
you need to make sure that you're showing how to protect and what to do, because you're never going to get in front of it. You're never going to get your clients completely off of it. There is no such thing as what I can't remember if not recovery, but
Remission or oh gosh. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. You know why? Because I had a question. I'm so sorry, but I had a question. What is fentanyl an umbrella of? What does it all include? It includes like just anything, like you said, that the scientists can invent.
So there's like all different kinds. Like there's that carfentanil. I think it's carfentanil. That's the really bad one.
Okay.
But it's like you can literally go to websites, and you can even go to Amazon and type in these drug names and like buy them. And it says on there, because
people try to tell me that before. Do you think that there's truth in that? People are like, "Oh yeah,
yes, she pulled it up and watched, and we watched it. She pulled it up and like live while we were like in the class and showed us. And it says on the bottoms, because they're commented on, because it's legal to buy, but it's not legal to consume. So what they do is they say it's for their mice. So it's like, oh, my mouse took this. It was, so Adderall is like a spin off of, what is it?
Isn't Adderall, they tweaked the chemistry and it was really legal methamphetamine or amphetamine?
Yes, that's what it is.
I watched specials upon specials. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So that's what they do is so they've just gotten so good at doing it so quickly that that's how they keep up with it.
They just tweak a molecule so it can't be detected by the standards of the Drug Administration, you're saying?
Exactly. And then it's legal to buy, legal to sell. And yeah. So then they put on there, oh, my mouse took this ADD med and it had no problems cleaning the house afterwards.
Oh my God. Like
that it was for them, but they're saying it. Yeah, it was crazy. It blew my mind. Completely blew my mind.
It's blowing my mind. For you to sell, like I'm telling you, that's how much we keep in our head and don't check. Like even I am so guilty because you just told me something. I completely, definitely did think that fentanyl was the drug that they keep on accidentally giving to these kids in Vicodin pills, or that I think that Michael Jackson had overdosed on. I would assume that it was just one drug administered and it is a really powerful drug. I can't believe it. So I'm educated, dude. And no, I did not know, because I always kind of hear people like my aunts and things try to say, oh, you can get this online, anything online. Bombs, drugs, and I'm like, yeah, right. You have to go to the dark web, but that's my naivety talking. You know what I'm saying? I've never obviously seen, so that's scary. You saw it like pull up and you could just send the money and she
even showed us like on, and honestly, I should have known this because of my job. And I do know some of it, but I didn't know as much. But on like Tinder profiles or whatever, if they have a capital, I can't remember what it was, but it's like special verbiages in their like name, and that tells you that they're a drug dealer.
Dude, I knew that was going on from Craigslist. My cousin, remember I was telling you she was single, and she would say little abbreviations I would have never known if she didn't tell me. And so, yeah, no, I would never know what the code word is, but I assume that probably happens to every freaking website, and maybe they go from different social platform as people might catch on to it or whatever. It's a crazy world when people are trying to poison and potentially most likely kill people just for money. Because I mean, I don't know much about it, but the fentanyl reports that I was, I guess, mistaking every time for, the fentanyl being replaced. I don't know if it's cheaper or what for opioids, but they always say in the Bay Area that they're replacing it, and then the kids buy the opioids, Vicodins off the street, and it'll be fentanyl. And it's like a lot, 9 times out of 10 an overdose. So, I was totally assuming that it was just one powerful, medication. So I assume no matter what, if it's labeled fentanyl, it's pretty much very lethal, right? I mean,
yeah, I think that's what they're.
Is this prescribed, any of those fentanyls that are maybe the first ones we heard about? Or is it prescribed by a doctor, or do you have to get it administered?
The actual drug fentanyl is, and they have fentanyl patches.
For what? Is it for pain or anxiety?
I think for pain.
Okay.
Like severe pain. Like I know my now ex-husband's mom has patches that she puts on, and they last for 3 days, because if you put it on your skin, it slowly absorbs. So I think it lasts like 3 days or whatever. But what people do is they take the patch and they put it in their mouth.
What? I'm assuming
they call them suicide patches or suicide packs, because they'll find them in the mouth when they find the body, because it's so strong. And what they're doing is they're taking a drug that was supposed to be let out over a long period of time and putting it in somewhere where it gets in your body really quickly.
And I have nothing but like empathy for that regard in this way, because I've been in that place where I wanted to escape either physical pain for real, because my ruptured discs, and at the time mental pain. So it's like, man, for those people to do that, it's just like a lot of people are like, oh, switch them to the curb. And it just is sad to me, because like we were talking about the other day about people who get to that desperate place of wanting to just end it. I think that's the step before almost, you know what I mean? When you're getting diluted in that thing. And I got the chills when you said that, because that, like, I know what you mean there. It's like installations, right? It'll be like a pill that you take and it'll be delayed release, a time release, right? Yeah. So that's unfortunate and super scary, because, you know, a lot of the youngsters, and you know what, after this, shout out to my cousin. I love her. She told me just recently that her son was one of those people. He's very young. He's like only 19 or 20. Had thought he was getting Vicodins, same type of scenario. He got an injury and then doctor prescribed, and then it ran out. He got that and definitely almost died. He almost died from fentanyl. So it's so intriguing now that you say that, because I assumed again that it was the same thing. So apparently it's probably like everything else as far as it would numb you or restrict your capability for breathing, right? I mean, that's how usually.
I think it's a depressive, so it shuts down your respiratory, and it
So
I think
scary.
it's kind of like that.
Man, it's so scary. Oh my gosh. You know what? I applaud that you speak about this, because I was just telling my neighbor, I don't care if, you know, they banned my videos to the fact where I would have to send it to somebody to watch it, because nobody is speaking about things that are, it's not like we're freaking out. We're trying to say, hey, let's talk about it. I've been in this situation or whatnot, or I haven't, and I can help you out, because that's just a sad place to be in. And I can only imagine, can you imagine being like a cop or a paramedic and you go so many times, like, you know, to see that like in the mouth, or just to see the same scenario, you know, and it's like they have hearts, or, you know, just like us, any person in a position can either be a hater or not, like we were talking about last time, but that must be
one of the missing people that we had that we were helping was a missing EMT, and it ended up that he committed suicide, and it was he had a couple of really hard cases just before that.
No, so, can you ever do that? Because I know that my purpose is not that, but I tip my hats off, and I feel a little bit like bad from not, but I'm an emotional person so much, and I don't want that to be an excuse, but I tip my hats off to people that can do that can go time and time again to a car wreck and see like their age kid, like a 3-year-old, or maybe a person that looks like them or their sister or mother. It's repetitive, because that's what they do every day. And I think that it takes a special kind of soldier. And so, you know, prayers to him for his lifetime here.
I have no idea how we got on that. Where did we even like?
I don't know.
Where did I don't even know how we got on that kind of stuff.
Okay, I love our talks flow, because I just I just flow with them, and I'm just amazed at that. You know what? We were talking about lidocaine, and I'll skip what I was going to tell you. I was going to say I know the lidocaine has back patches too. You know what I'm saying, that you put back there anyway.
Yeah.
So so that poor EMT was like in a position that you were. I wonder if that happens to people in which it's not so much they know for sure it's that day. If they just literally, maybe even, I don't know, if they just really quickly, you know, have thought that for a while, and they just really quickly kind of do like you, like, really, it's going to be that. And they feel like that if they don't, this desperation is just going to I don't know, someone said like cover them like they're going to be buried. And I thought that was a good explanation. I'm like, yeah, when you're depressed or having those kind of ideations, you do feel like you have no room to move. You're just
you can't dig your way out.
Yes, true. That goes with that metaphor. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I know we talked about bear so many times, but do you find that, because I think that it's so true with me and you and many people, is that the emotional support before a scenario like that, during, after, from other animals too that come into your being is just such an emotional, pivotal support role in which you can almost relate to them on this kind of spiritual or whatever you want to call it level that the human beings don't have. And I was just talking to another neighbor, about the fact that you can come home to your cat, dog, animal, possum, and they're not judging you. They're not judging you because you did that yesterday, because you got a DUI, or because you know what I mean? It's like, so did you find that, even though, your story is very particular because you had to mourn for a beloved, that passed away bear, and then, but did you find any comfort in that, like, getting to know a new animal or any kind of emotional support that you can remember there was kind of that kinship with an animal?
Yeah, I would say probably Toulouse helped me a lot. I would say,
did Toulouse act like they were empathetic, as if they knew you were sad and in peril inside?
I would say he's always been like that. Like anytime I cry, he like runs from wherever he is and like comes up and gets on me. So he's always been kind of like my emotional support kitty.
Yeah.
So when I got home, he was just on me and around me. And I don't know if he knew, but all of the animals were, you could tell that they were scared and we kind of weirded out. And then when I got home, they were all kind of around me. And so it was very,
do you think they sensed the other side from you, by the way, when you came back, when they were gathered around? Did they act like as if they're just like, wow, you've been somewhere or something? Do you think that there was any sense, or they were just happy that you were back and okay?
I don't know. That's a good question. They were definitely happy and glad, but it could have been maybe a little bit that they sensed that.
Yeah. Like, I'm just thinking, my cat is so curious. He's like always sniffing, like no matter what. I'm just curious if any of them kind of, not in a weird way, but just kind of like, like we were talking about that one incident where they looked and they saw something in the corner of the room. I'm just wondering if they sensed, or was like, where have you been, Mom? You know what I mean? But also the hospital too, babe. So I'm sure that was, they were smelling.
Yeah. Well, and I had so many different like people smells on me and the hospital smell on me. And I don't know how they reacted when the people came in, but
good question, because you were at that point, your ex-husband, he was gone, right? So you were by yourself and you called. So that's interesting. So do your dogs usually, or your animals usually react like to protect the house? That's crazy. I didn't even ever think to ask you.
No, they usually get excited and kind of bark. And I think they were probably scared. Bear probably was like standing back and maybe barking, but probably just like standing back.
Yeah.
Kip might have went up to them and like said hi or, whatever. But I think the cop asked if they were friendly.
Okay.
But I don't exactly know what he was saying about the animals. Something about putting them away, or something about, are they friendly? Something about them, but I was not.
You were in and out, like consciousness when you were on the phone with them, with the 911?
See, I don't even know what I told the 911. I think I just got it dialed and then the phone laid there.
Oh my God.
So I'm not sure that I said anything. Okay. And then I definitely didn't answer the door. So they walked in the door. So it was definitely unlocked, I'm pretty sure. So, and then I do remember my ass hanging out.
Of course, right? When we get,
yeah, I do remember that part.
That is like something they like, that in a car accident, they cut off your clothes and like, they're just like, if you have like, I had injuries, life threatening. So they just cut out like naked. I had no idea until after. And then you talk to people that have been through an emergency. You're like, yeah. And I always, like, used to joke about that, where you're saying like, oh, I'm going to be caught with some granny panties one day, you know what I mean? And then have an emergency, but that is real. You know what about that I wanted to ask you about that scenario of them coming in, you not remembering? When you were first going over to the other side and you were having that sort of experience, I don't know if you call it out of body experience, but you were noticing the room that you were in was still the room, but, you know, more enhanced and all this. Did you notice the animals? Were the animals still there? No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
And I don't know where they were. I was in the living room on the couch, and then I decided for whatever reason I get up and go to the bedroom, and I didn't make it. I fell in the bathroom or in the bedroom floor. So I don't know where the animals were, if they were in the bedroom with me. Yeah. And then I was in the bedroom until I came to and woke up, and then my phone was in the living room. So I had to crawl to the living room to call. And then that's, yeah. And I puked somewhere. I don't know where I puked.
That's a good thing too. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's a good thing because, you know, to try to hopefully get something out. So when you started to see the changes, was there any, you know, was there any like cognizance about like anyone that was supposed to be there? Like, did you think when you were having that transition, or was it just all about the experience? Were you thinking about, oh, the cops are coming, oh, my ex-husband, or anything like that? Or were you just kind of?
No, I just kind of went with it. The only thing I kind of thought was, I thought I was falling on the floor, but I'm standing.
It was that feeling that we were talking about, or different when you're like little, or when you like are right about to go to sleep in between and you feel like you're like rushing down on the bed. Is that?
Yeah, kind of like that. Okay. But I felt myself go down to the floor, but visually I was still up.
Oh, intriguing.
Yeah.
Intriguing. Did you see yourself on the floor? Did you right away, did you see yourself on the floor? Like you saw the conscious split with the body and you knew that?
No, I didn't see I felt the fall.
You just felt
like once that like hit, there was like no like it was almost like it just went out and away. Like it was almost like I don't even know how to explain it. Like my body fell from underneath me.
Hold on, Marcus, is she laughing? Are they laughing? It's okay if they're laughing. This on live. I'm like, as long as no one didn't like fall down the stairs. Are you laughing? That's okay. Okay, good. Thank God. I'm all, dude. They're so cute, dude. It's my son. They're making a heck of a noise. It's my son and his girlfriend, and like I had to check because I kept on hearing them like, I hope she's not injured, and they're like, no. They like wrestle and play and everything, and I guess today they're just in an extra happy mood. Sorry. Must be my PTSD from getting in arguments. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
Okay, so I didn't want to interrupt that, but I think that is so intriguing, as if you knew right at that moment that you were not your body.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was weird.
And was it instantaneous knowing, like, just, this is it. This is what's up.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, and then at that moment, that's when I started feeling very different. Okay. Very warm, and that light, that immense love feeling.
Did you feel the draw, like, you know, that magnetism? Did you feel that calling or whatnot too? Like the warmth was kind of inviting?
I would say so.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's so awesome. And I just always, try to recreate it in my mind, thinking about the way that you explained it, because it is interesting. I've shared this before, and when I was really young, before, and I had my daughter young at 21, but when I was senior in high school, and then for a year after, I would go to the San Francisco raves, and I did experiment with psilocybin. I don't know how to pronounce that right now. It's the mushrooms, right? And I want to say that it was a very, very, not the visual colors and all that. I mean to say what you explained when you said when you first went there into your room and you noticed that it's still the room, the construct is still the same, but it was more tidy, clean, neat. I know what you mean when you're trying to put that into words. And I have had a hard time because I wanted to like email you and tell you, hey, is this what you're talking about? And I cannot form the words, but it's very, very intriguing. I had it twice, when I experienced mushrooms, and so did my best friend, who would definitely have the same spiritual experience with me at the same time. And I do remember that it's like, I tell people, no, it's not hallucination. It's like as if you can see from a different perspective. And I know it's not the same as a near-death experience, but there's something about that way that you describe it being more tidy, or I don't know how you put it, but I just wanted to say I can't think of the right words, but I think I want to just touch upon that and write you an email about how, yes, it just is intriguing to how things can look a different way. I think that hallucinogenics, or if you call them that, LSD, DMT, what is it, Klonopin, right? Wait, yeah. And then mushrooms. I think that is a sort of bridge. And I'm not saying, do it or don't. I'm saying I think it is a bridge that shows you a tiny bit that there is tons of different realms, perceptions, dimensions that you can, if you choose to, try to get through, or if you have, like you, a complete divine experience with that, actually walk over to that side. You know what I mean? So, I've heard you say it before, but I'm just fascinated. It's like, what was the room when you first went over? What did the room look like?
Well, so when I was standing there, it was my room, but like you said, it was a lot cleaner. There wasn't things on the floor. The colors were different. And then that's when I turned around. And when I turned around, that's when what I saw in front of me went away. And then that's when I saw the open field of, and that's the picture that I think I've sent you.
Yeah, I love it. Do you have it on your wall? Where is it? I love that.
I have it on my Facebook group wall.
Oh, I thought I meant like in your house. Like, where do you keep that? Like real. I'm just curious.
I don't have it.
Okay.
I need to print it out. But somebody in the near-death experience group actually painted it because that's what she saw. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's almost exactly what I saw. So I'm not an artist. I can't do anything.
Talked about that. I thought that she gave it to you though, my bad. But you know what? We were talking about that, and I shared that story about how the art teacher and all that. Yeah, me and you are on the same page with that. But you're saying that definitely was it saying to you as something that you recognized.
Yeah, for sure. Mine just didn't have the little people in it like hers did. Yeah.
Yeah, not yet, right? Until you got to the other level.
Yeah, until I got to Yeah.
But the colors, like the way she depicted it, is really, really deep. I really like it.
Yeah. It was really good job. And it pretty much exactly like that. Just an open field, lots of colors, really bright light. Yeah.
It always reminds me of, I have to say it always reminds me over and over again when people describe it, the Alice in Wonderland guy, they have got to have tripped because it was that whole vibrancy of colors and the flowers, like they say, expressing themselves with vibration of love, you know what I mean? That kind of thing, singing. So it's just really intriguing to me. And I can't imagine the colors because it's just something so beautiful when so many people say there's nothing on earth that we can describe it about. So it's so intriguing to me.
And I think it is very somehow it has something to do with our brain, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Our brain is very connected to the other side. And seeing my mom and then having her pass a little 2 weeks later, it was, to me, she was already in the maybe transferring over already.
Right.
And she just didn't know it.
Okay.
And I feel like drugs that help you activate that, what is that in your brain that
the DMT or the pineal gland? Yeah.
I think that is somehow a gateway into it, and that's why it's the closest that people say it is.
That's why on the bucket list, I will definitely say it. I am interested in going, sister, with you. I want to have that experience. I've been called to to do it right with the shaman or something. And I want to do the ayahuasca because I have been, reading books for a while now. And it says, when you get this calling where you keep on thinking about it and really truly want to do it in a spiritual, to ascend to that level, not to just get high, that there is a purpose, there's a reason to be called. And so I totally agree with you on that. And I think that there's so much fascination. We could talk about what you said about how your mom was there and Bear was there. I always think this too, and it gives me the chills. It's like they try to explain other people say time doesn't exist. Time is not linear. And so everything's happening all at once. A lot of people say, I got the chills. And so I just wonder if in that realm, that is when we can experience that totality, because everyone's already there. You know what I mean? It's so hard to I have the chills all over my body. It's so hard to put into concept, but I mean, getting off of that path, but into the same thing, the rabbit hole, I was going to ask you, another question I wanted to ask you is about the room. When you first, transitioned out from your physical and you saw that there were colors different, it looked a little neater. A lot of people who do these remote viewing and out of body experiences say that they are taken, like when they're far advanced, into different dimensions that they're living simultaneously, and that it usually is always the same type of base, like the same house, the same look, but then sometimes they'll be way weird, like different languages, or just, you know what I mean? They're with a different girl or whatever it is. So I was fascinated the other day, listening to this person who was channeling, doing these remote viewings, and that was their experience. And I thought, wow, that is intriguing and a possibility for me to, I think it's a definite probability that we have different simultaneous, like the multi-dimension thing. So I don't know how you feel about that, about the whole, Albert Einstein, like time is but, an illusion. And if that's why, because a lot of people have said that, like they don't understand, like a near-death experiencer about 3 weeks ago had said that she had a 5-year-old son. She went on the other side. Her son showed up as a 21-year-old guy. And he goes, "What are you doing here? Like, what are you doing? Are you at work?" Right? And so she didn't know that was her son, but she knew, and that she knew because she was there and she knew. So right. She never told her son. And then sure enough, he grew up and she said she knew when he was like 16 that he was looking like the 21-year-old son. It just gave me the chills, because that right there is another mystery as far as time, space, what was that? And she's still trying to ponder it and come, to any kind of conclusion. So
wow.
Yeah. Right. Wow. Oh my gosh. And I've been really, really thinking a lot too about how you talk about the levels. And I think that it's really neat, because I know that, it's controversial, because certain, I guess that maybe it is, the Church of Latter-day Saints, maybe I think that we talked about, believes in levels. But that being said, so does Buddhists. They believe in certain transcendental. I mean, there is just so much commonality with all the spiritual practices, even if you want to take Christianity and Catholic. Heaven, hell, Middle Earth. You know what I mean? I mean, so it's intriguing to me. And that kind of goes alongside, I think, with the parallel universes, the levels. Maybe that's what we do. We go on to reincarnate into a different dimension. But so it's fascinating.
The 3 levels is quoted in the Bible.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think that's amazing. I think that is so amazing when you can find your own truth from your experience and then find it elsewhere out like that. That's why I love that you talk about it to some people, because, it's okay. I'm just born this way. And sometimes it's a deficit to be, but I think it helps people that, like my mom, she's like, I would never speak about if I saw a UFO, she believes me. She knows she was there and she's seen the whole, me talking to her about the therapy. She fully is there. She watches now. She's like, it's crazy, Britney. If the Virgo mom is getting woke, we are definitely accelerating this global awakening, because she's watching Ancient Aliens and like all this Skinwalker Ranch, and I'm all, go mom. I'm like, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just really random. She's always been kind of hippie-ish, but not like that. So yeah, it's wild. And I think that once you do have those experiences and then you search, you search for somebody out there that, perhaps can tell you and validate your story. Because for me, we're brought up to be so programmed with logic. You want to do a hypothesis, check off all the boxes of what it can be. You know what I mean? So I think that that's rad that you talk about it, because yeah, it's mysterious. It is mysterious. Do you do anything on the day? Like, for instance, I know it's just your 2nd year anniversary, but do you do anything to honor that day? Either, in a stolen way or a celebratory way? Or, did you feel more positive this year compared to last year's anniversary?
I would say I felt it more this year than I did last year. Last year, it was just kind of a day to me. And I don't know if it was because of COVID or what.
Yeah. And your mom.
I noticed it, but I didn't really notice it. This year, I would say I've noticed it more, and I reflected more on how far I've come.
That's good.
And the positive things that I've accomplished and who all I've helped. And I just made sure that I shared on that day that it was that day. I mean, I blatantly posted it on Facebook that this is my 2nd year anniversary. I could have died 2 years ago. Don't do that, people.
Yes.
And
showed yourself self-love. I was just talking to the girl yesterday, Renee, about that. It's so important when you give your testimony and you show that you're not afraid to say, hey, I was there, but guess what? I can help you because I've come out of it. That is so powerful. Like literally, that's powerful.
Yeah.
It's hard. Some people don't come out of it. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I was very, very lucky. I was very fortunate to have the experience I did because, like I said, I don't know where I would be today if I didn't. I don't know how I would have taken Mom's death and even Bear's death.
I think about that time for you. I really truly feel as a channeler or psychic or just your soul sister. I've known you for so many. I just feel so connected. I have thought about that so many times. Like, thank you, God, for working the way that you work, because I feel like if I put myself, in this transcendental, I can be you. If I didn't have that experience to give me that faith, I mean, maybe the next time you did, because you would have, who knows, because the timeline branch would go off. Maybe you would have actually, you know what I mean, succumbed and stuff, and then other people would be affected. I just always think about that. And I know it's so rough, like watching my dad suffocate to death, so rough. But then looking back at it, it's more, I think effective in my soul's journey to look at, wow, well, because of that experience, it happened. There's nothing to do about it. But look at what I've been able to do, in hindsight of it. And it's like it's so hard to say that, because I don't know if I'm saying it right, because I'm not celebrating these experiences, but I'm saying I get what you mean, like how far you've come and how much you can talk about it. That's something that you have to realize, and I have to remind you probably, because it takes people to remind me. That's something so powerful that a lot of people look to you to do as an advocacy for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's too personal. We talked about your dad though before. Does your dad take any notice about that experience ever, or in particular December? I know we talked about if he recognized your mom's birthday and he called on that day, etc. But is there anything like your sister, your dad, or I have very detached family members, so it wouldn't be me. They wouldn't recognize that for me.
They didn't. No, nothing.
Oh, it's a common thing for us empaths or whatnot, whatever you want to say, light workers, to have people just to seem to be whatever people have labeled it, like a sleepwalking, maybe like a to protect their feelings or to get involved. They just say it like this. But to me, I couldn't help it. Like, I'm going to write down probably when I get my phone, December 7th, as far as like for your, you know what I mean? I'm just really sentimental. And so I guess I had expected everybody in my life, everybody in general, I guess, to be as sentimental as I am.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And so shout out to that, just some empathy and stuff. Cause I know that certain times, like, I wish that it would be recognized. They're like, what your dad say, what? I'm like, well, we've been over this about 15 times. It's the main thing that I, preach about and I'm talking about and healing from. But you know what? I hope that you just were able to, like you said, reflect on, honestly, like what about that email? That's right. I wanted to tell you that we didn't get to that. There has been so many people. Last time we were talking about how many people you affect in a positive way. Remember the email that the lady wrote? I think it was off of your podcast or something. I forget. There was a lady who emailed me and said that she was helped. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't.
You don't remember?
No.
Hopefully I sent it to the right person. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do that. But I will look in my emails. But there was a lady.
I'm sure you sent it.
I think so. And then we got all excited because she said, you said to give her my, she said about the animal. I think it was her dog. She lost her dog. and she was super sad.
Yeah.
And you saved her because she was thinking about that. Okay.
Yep.
So that I'm just saying that came through my circuit, which, bless their souls if anyone's watching. I'm just saying that just the trickling down effect, the divine order, like we've talked about so many times, it is fascinating. And you know what? You can turn it around and look at it, unfortunately, as if like, one mistake, let's say horrible thing like a murder or something, it just goes down the chain of what will affect. Like they won't raise their kids. Maybe the kids go to a foster home and gets abused. Who knows? There's just so many things that when we don't act out of love that we can affect. But when we act out of love based on those situations that weren't filled, I think that so much can change. And it sounds cheesy, but I'm just going to preach it. I almost backed out of being so positive, this year, as far as getting back on the horse and this whole COVID thing. But I'm like, no, if that's my nature, I'm not unaware that the ship is right now hit an iceberg. Our earth and everybody in it is just panicking and flailing around. But hey, you know what I'm saying? What else are we going to do? Are we going to sit around and whine, or are we going to try to,
Did you hear about the black box?
No, what? What's a black?
Oh my gosh.
The black box of what? Of a plane?
Of the earth?
No. What? What?
So scientists have created or are creating a black box for the earth. So when we screw up, whoever comes next or whatever happens, they can see what we did wrong. So they can not do that, or they know what happened to us.
Okay, girl. Now I'm going to go into my theories about, look, these people might know something's going down. Like they might know that there's
in Australia, first of all. Australia, where there's like, tarantulas and crabs and snakes. And so why would we put it in Australia? I'm not quite sure, but that's where they're putting it.
When did this come about? This is so...
I heard it just the other day, but they said that it would run out of power, or it would run out. I can't remember what they said, but it was like approximately 30 to 50 years.
Oh, 30 to 50 years. And what's the point? When the world,
I think that's what they think we got left, girl.
No, I think that they know about an asteroid. I was just talking about this to my spirit guides in my journal. I will be real. I never preach this stuff, but let me tell you, since it got brought up, it's meant to be, Britney. I am not saying it in a worried, paranoid way. I want to tell you that there's a lot of commonalities with the earth kind of, not just from global warming. I think it's changing because of different effects, okay? And I also think that it's so odd, like Elon Musk, just went out to the desert and bought a tiny home. And there's just all these different changes where I can feel obviously something coming on. And it's just bizarre. All these SpaceX and trying to move people, get volunteers to Mars, and then they're making like a black box, like a signal. Intriguing. And let's talk about that. But you know what? I wanted to say, what if that had happened, like Atlantis left one, and like the Egyptians and the pyramid, once you figure out the code or something, enticing like that, it could be like that, like a beacon to be like, hey, we had this happen. I believe in so much more than science has revealed, as far as like there's Göbekli template. It's like, they were unearthed it in the 90s, and it's in Turkey, and it is way dated to like 15,000 BC, I think, something like that. And of course, before then, scientists were saying, oh no, nothing is older than, Sumeria or something. Like there was like 2000 BC. So it's, to me, I think that there's been civilizations, there's been catastrophes, there's been comets that have bombarded super volcanoes. There's been a lot more of these extinction events and things that we've done in I'll tell you the good news, people, is that fortunately we've repopulated because of it, but still I have the chills on my cheek. That's mind blowing. And if that doesn't give it away, them admitting that they know about UFOs and getting a black box ready, I don't know what they're trying to do. That's crazy. So it's just like a black box of testimonial about what we did wrong to our earth.
No, it's like it's live recording, and it's recording like the temperatures and like the levels of pollution, and it's like it's recording.
Okay.
Apparently there's like a thing where you can watch the water receding.
Oh my God.
Now they have technology to where you can actually pull up like the whole earth and like actually watch in real time the water receding.
Oh, Brittany, we are in historical times, Angel. We are in some historical times right now, because it's going so fast, the demise, unfortunately, of the environment and the animals. And it's interesting.
What do your kids think?
My kids, they've you know what's scary is when your grandma, your mom, and your kids all say within just, I mean, not to put Trump into it, but since that whole, like, literally since 2016, it's even gotten so far off the map. Like my eldest daughter, she is such a proponent. She just got me, speak of the devil, this little, where's my little orca whale? She got me for Christmas last year, this little donation, right? And so I adopted an orca whale, and her son, because there's just so much, pollution, et cetera. There's so much conservation that she has, even throughout her school years, man, since like she was in there. But every, week she'd come back and say, Mom, did you know about this and that? And we do the fact checks and everything. And it's, as much as school programs them negatively, at least for the, kids I have, they did in California really were environmentally, letting them know facts, not just global warming. They were saying, hey, look, for whatever reason, whether it's the Earth's natural or global warming, look what's happening. And so it's really sad. And then unfortunately, they saw throughout their lifetime a whole bunch of oil spills that are just unnecessary.
What about the future? Like, what are they thinking? Because I would be afraid to have a kid, because I would not be very positive.
That's what my mom, you're just like my mom. My mom had to be begged to have a kid, because she's like, she was kind of real about it. She's like, I just want to join the Peace Corps because this world is a mean place, right? So she's happy she had me, but that's her attitude. I feel that, because I'll tell you what, my girls, which is sad for me, but I'm like, I'm good. I had my babies, whatever comes. I've always known psychically that my son, who's the middle child, that he'll have a babies before my daughters. My eldest says, oh no, I don't want to have anymore because of everything. Biological stuff. If anything, I would want to have a foster or adopt to help those who've been affected from whatever is going down. My youngest daughter is, I think she's like trying to say the same type of thing. She wants to help, but also she's real. She's like, and plus, me, it's like, it's a big deal. And I've always known that I just kind of like, she's like, I just want to do me. And I think that that's power in it. And she says also the pain, and she's not saying it immaturely. She said that since she was like 10 years old. So I always wonder, now that I'm investigating, I think I'm going to investigate hardcore, like past lives. I always wonder if there's some undertone, because she's always said that, not in a weird way. She's just said, no, I don't think I want a baby. I love them, but like, I just want to give them back, and I don't want it to hurt. I'd rather like go and get one that's in a bad family. And I'm like, I respect that. I love that totally. So I know that Marcus will have, whether I'm alive to see it or not, he'll have a biological grandchild. I think but that being said, he's more like his dad as far as emotional forward thinking of, whoa, what are we going to do? It's more like that habitual, let me get through the day, work for what I have at the present. And that's, that's wonderful for some of us, but I really truly have all of it. I think about that, of course. And my mind, not in a fearful way, but it ponders the possibilities. Like, I'm glad I can talk to you about this without everybody going, oh, she's afraid of the world ending. There's just a lot of possibilities that I've realized watching history show about the super volcano under Yellowstone, you name it, the Muamua or whatever that was, the round-shaped asteroid that came and made a U-turn around the Earth. I mean, there's been a lot of things that, it can happen at any moment. It's obviously happened before, lots of different anomalies, and it's like, we don't even know what's out there in space technically anyway. You know what I mean? They say we've explored more of the Mariana Trench in the ocean, which than space, when we really don't know. Physicists think they know, but you know what I mean? It's like, there's so much more to it, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
Gosh, that's fascinating. Thank you for getting me down. I love when you put me on my homework assignments for spiritual rabbit holes, because I'm definitely going to have to watch something about the black box.
Yeah, check it out. I heard about it the other day, and I'm like, the what?
What in the world? And it's like, that conspiracists are going to go, oh, that's not what that black box is doing. It's listening to all our conversations. I mean, there's a part of that. It's true. Shoot. You know what I mean? That, like, the whole surveillance thing. But that being said, that people are going to be like, what is it? Is it a beacon? I think that it's, I don't know. How do you feel about that one disc that went out? I think it was when I was born in 1977. The disc that they sent into space, and it's still jamming, and it has like a little record, and it plays all the songs and like different things on it, and it says hello. I'm like thinking, wait, you don't know who all is out there. I'm sure there's just like Earth, benevolent and good and evil. So I'm thinking, why would we say hi? come on in, like whoever you are. I just always thought that when I was taught in school or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know, I don't know if you should have done it that way, because they put like a little map on there, like of our star system. And they're like, here,
Wow.
come and say hello. Yeah, you got to check that out. It's interesting.
I don't know. I don't know. It's like half a dozen one way and then 6 to 1, whatever that saying is.
Yes.
Like
yes.
you can't win. I mean, if you don't figure out something, then when we need the black box, like then we don't have anything. But then if we invite people over and they crash the party, then that's also not good. Like, so it could go bad either way.
I love that, Libra. I love the balancing scales within you. Hey, have you ever seen that movie District 9?
Yes.
That's one of my favorite freaking movies, dude. Vicus. I love that movie because I think that is such a real potential concept to any. I mean, there's so many planets. Who knows? That could be happening right now. We, in the future, could get on some sort of transport and be sick because we're, you know what I mean? I love that movie. And it shows what people can do with oppression and, the caste system. I think it's like they put them in the ghettos and they're like burning their little huts anyway. I just love you to death. I guess I'll let you go, girl, but I can talk to you for hours. And I think that after I get off the thing, I'm going to write down like a list of things because I'm fascinated by so many things that you said. I cannot even tell you how much this is like food for my soul. I was like doing that in my journal. I was saying, thank you so much because I just definitely, I kind of gave up on connecting in friendships because I was like, oh my God, no, nobody likes this goofy, person. And then I got secure with myself and loved myself like, oh, it's just me and I can do this because I don't need the outside. And then it just is nice. I guess maybe that is how it's meant to be. When you accept yourself and it's okay that you're by yourself, then you get blessed with like friendship. So yeah, I think really
that's the same with men. As soon as you stop looking, you find one. Boom. Not that you need one because they're trouble, but
with a capital T. Who sings that? Taylor Swift.
That's an actual song? I had no idea.
She sings it about an actor. Oh, Alyssa loves her. She tells me all this. She's a real big fan. I knew you were trouble when you walked in.
Interesting.
Trouble. It's about that guy that played Spider-Man. Shoot. I forget his name. Oh, Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah. She writes about all her dudes. I'm all, okay. Anyways, love, I will let you go, but I love you to death. And I will go down the rabbit hole now if anybody wants to do it with me. I'm going to check out the black box, and I appreciate you like telling me all this.
Yeah. Email me what you think after you're done.
I will. I'll email you because the phone replacement, but yeah. Okay, sweetheart. Right. Bye-bye, guys. Okay, we'll much